Hey, everybody. Nope. Hello, everybody. No. Oh, hello. Nope. Hi. Welcome to StouryTime. My name's John. Nope. This is weird without another person here, that's for sure. Hey, everybody. Welcome to StouryTime. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the StouryTime podcast where we talk with friends and people we don't know. Nope. Hi. Welcome to StouryTime. I'm your host, John. This week, we have a great episode. A very close friend of mine, Matt Wojtanik, stopped by to share some stories. We had a lot of fun talking about music and some other things. It's great to see Matt. I've known Matt for quite some time. I haven't seen him in a little while, so it was a lot of fun to reminisce about some old stories where actually I was involved in. Me and his old band, Trespassers, actually played some shows together on tour, which was a lot of fun. So that was nice to relive some of those moments. And if you're looking to help support the podcast, you want to do so in any way, if you want to make a donation, you can do that on the Anchor website. You can just go to StouryTimePod.com, StouryTimepod.com. That'll bring you to where you need to be for that. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. I appreciate you sticking around and giving a listen. Maybe share with a friend, anything like that. Everything helps. So make sure you like and subscribe. Follow Matt and everything that he does. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.
You were pissing neon green every day.
That big ball of heat in the sky was too much. I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to
StouryTime.
StouryTime.
What's new, man? What have you been up to? It's been a minute since.
I've been working like crazy and just driving a tractor trailer out every day, delivering beer, which is
Hilarious.
It's so funny. Like it's just
it's only funny because you're the heaviest drinker I know.
the heaviest drinker. I don't know how I even got here without drinking.
I mean,
yeah,
all of us are
It's especially like how crazy the tours were when like we did that drive down to Fest and like every night was a wild time.
Yeah.
And it's just like the dynamic of me being. Oh, well, we had Matt and Nick were straight edge too. I always forget that.
That's true.
It really was just you guys and Alec and Ryan. They knew how to have a good time.
Well, yeah. I mean, dude, it's so funny too. Like, I don't really drink. I do occasionally, but I don't drink to get drunk anymore.
That's
I took all of last year off.
That's sick.
And then didn't have my first drink until like New Year's Eve-ish, around there.
Dude, I feel like that's just
Had one and hated it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. And so now I'll have one occasionally. Yeah, but it's like a beer and I won't even finish it.
I feel like that's such a dynamic now that like it must just be getting older. Like I'm sure like people still like drink and have a good time and get rowdy with it, but like the thought of putting myself in a position where I would be more tired than I already am from a normal day, it's just no way.
Yeah, it's funny. And then like you look at it, you're like, okay, Mush has 2 kids.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Mike just had a second this week.
Jeez.
I've got a kid on the way.
It's
Boots has 7 or 12 kids.
I was gonna, dude. I'm so glad you went right in there because like I haven't seen Boots in easily like 8 years.
He moved.
Where is he? That's the thing. I
want to say Indiana.
He's like a mysterious little magic man that I don't. Like, it's like I forget he exists.
Yeah, I want to say Indiana, but
that makes sense. He looks like he would live in Indiana. No offense. Like I love you, Boots, but like he's a bearded guy. Like he just looks like he'd fit in.
He's a bearded guy, got 12 kids. Like
12 kids. It all met.
I think he was. Last I heard or last I spoke to him, it was at Anthony's brother's funeral, which was unfortunate, but. He was doing something like he was like a foreman for a company that did like flooded basements. Ooh. So he was like in charge of the guys that would go in and clean up the basements and fix them up and whatever. Gotcha. But yeah.
So I think if I'm remembering correctly, it was one of Nick Berger's. I don't know if it was like a last. He played a Nick Berger show when he wasn't touring with you guys, right? Or am I making this up?
No, he toured. Oh, you know what? No, he toured with us, and then when he stopped touring with us, he was having a kid.
Yeah, I remember that. That was like the first.
He was supposed to be moving to Rochester, and we were like, dude, that's just not going to work. So let's stay friends. We'll just split our ways, and then that's it. And then kind of just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So
do you still talk to him at all?
I haven't talked to him since the funeral, and that was like 7 years ago, dude.
That's just what happens.
I'm
sure, like if you guys like texted real quick, we'd pick up. One of those situations.
He's busy. I'm busy. We're all busy.
And
if I see him, then it'll be great to see him. You know.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
That's how it is for everybody. I don't see you often.
I see,
and
you
when I see you at
once.
Wegmans, I'm like, oh, you know.
It's usually a Wegmans run-in.
Yeah.
It's like the same, same shit. But it's funny, and that's just how it is these days.
Right. So you're working, driving a truck, delivering beers.
Yep.
You started a new band.
Started a new band finally after all these years of playing music in my living room, just like writing songs every day, basically.
So did you do a lot of that during the pandemic?
You know what? Yes and no. Like I can't like vividly remember actively just being like, okay, like I can't do anything else because I worked the entire pandemic. Like my wife worked from home. She never she had a time where she wasn't working at all.
Right.
I never missed a day. Like it was just because we were
everybody needs their beer, dude.
Dude, literally, like I remember that. Like obviously, right now in March, it's like 3 years almost to the day of when everything started going down, and like it's still like really just crazy to think about that stuff. And I remember that whole like build up where we were just like, we're a beer company. Like we distribute beer. We're not essential. This is bullshit, whatever. And then like they forgot we have water, we have pop, like some non-alcoholic stuff. And like just the whole food service in general was like, no, you're essential. Come to work, put a mask on and go to work. That's wild. And I mean, like, I will say 100%. I'm very thankful that happened. I know a lot of people, went through a lot of, losing their job, money problems and stuff like that. So I was very thankful that I had a secure job during that. But yeah, I never like have like a vivid memory of like sitting down and writing stuff. But it was basically, do you remember Nate Schmidt? He played guitar in Anchor Me Down.
Yes.
Back in the day. So it's basically Anchor Me Down, but not Anchor Me Down. It's me, Ryan Ankenbauer, and Nate Schmidt, little 3-piece. And me and Nate have been working, writing music together for as long as I remember. I've known him for like 12 years now. And it's just, we've always been writing music together. Ryan in the mix too. And like, there was a small time where me and Nate lived together and, we just terrorized everybody with writing music and playing music. And some of these songs that are going to be on this album are literally like 8 years old.
That's awesome though.
It's cool, but it's also like, the more we write stuff, I'm like, do we really want to use these songs? I'm like, these are really old. They're probably kind of aged.
Genesee Hotel, one of I think Broth. The title of the song is Broth. That was written in 2009.
Oh my, I love
in
that.
a band that I was in with Nick, the guitarist, and
amazing.
He it's not verbatim at all. He came up with the riff back then and then brought it to us, and we were like, boom, 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 let's go, and it just came together. So, and those are the ones that kind of like, dude, they cook. You know what I mean? And you're like,
they've aged with fine wine.
And you,
like
yeah, dude.
Wine.
And you,
huge drinker over here.
You had, yeah, dude, huge drinker. But it cooks, and it just you know what you're looking for by the time it gets to that recording.
And that's the good thing about having. It's a good and bad thing because obviously Ryan is like a full-time touring machine where he's out.
Which I got to get him on here too.
Dude, you do because he is literally doing some of the coolest shit. And like as much as it sucks not having him here and being able to like just like, hey, let's practice this day, let's record this day. Like it's been very around his schedule, which it's good and bad because it gives us time. Me and Nate jam all the time, just me and him. We can rework some stuff and dissect when things aren't working. But also like he's doing the coolest shit right now. I think he's out with some like TikTok artist.
Okay.
What is it? Rose. I can't remember. Claire Rosen's. If you knew the song, if you heard the song, you'd be like, oh, I've heard that song a million times.
Okay.
That's what he did to us. He's like, he showed us the song. I'm like, oh, I've heard this on TikTok a billion times.
Yeah, I don't have a TikTok, so
you're not missing much. Okay. It's just if you'd like to waste the last 2 hours of relaxing time at night,
that's what I do with Instagram. So it's the same thing basically.
So are you one of those like Instagram reel people who like you're like you dive into the Instagram?
Yeah,
reel?
dude, they're all the same thing.
They are, but
TikTok.
But you're seeing them like 6 months later.
Yeah. Well, so here's my thing. I did have TikTok, and it was like Jen. My wife, she was like, I'm never downloading that. I was like, neither am I. And then one day I downloaded it because somebody sent me a link and you can't watch the damn thing unless you have one. So I downloaded it. Come home. She's on my phone. She's like, do you have TikTok? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, we said never. And then she's like, can I see it? And I like pulled it up, and I'm not kidding. We sat there for 3.5 hours.
Dude, it's so dangerous.
And you're like, oh my God, it's 11:30. I should have been in bed by 9:30.
Yeah. And it's so funny you have that. I'm sure everybody's had this conversation or like even this mindset with TikTok, because that was the exact same thing. Like, especially during the pandemic, like those days where Katie was like, work was so slow, she wasn't even doing anything, so she would just kill time on that. Yeah. And I'd make fun of her all the time, be like, watching that stupid app, wasting all your time. And then like one day I was like, I guess I gotta download it.
That's the same as like Jen's watching that. What is it, Vanderpump Rules or whatever?
The people actually watch that.
It's a show.
It's a real thing.
It's real.
Was that on Peacock, right?
I think so.
I've been watching.
Who am I kidding? I know it's on Peacock. Yeah. I got sucked in, and I hate it. I actually I watch it, and I'm like, oh, you're the worst.
Yeah.
Everyone cheats on everybody, and then they're like, you cheated, and they're like, well, so did you, mother. Like, what are you talking about?
So I will say I have absolutely zero knowledge of what the show is. I've seen a thumbnail, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never clicking on that, dude. But
wait till it hits your wife, and then you're like,
oh,
okay.
She watches all the garbage, dude. Like, that is like her thing of like, we watch a lot of very similar movies, shows, everything like that. But like when she goes in her art room and she's doing her shit, I'll walk in there and she'll instantly press the space bar. I'm like, what are you watching? And I'll walk in there and she's like, Real Housewives of
Love
this
is Blind.
Yeah, like the 57th season of Real Housewives. I'm like. Right. I'm like, can you? All right, thank you for pausing that. Like, you can go back to your garbage. But there's a lot of garbage out there.
Oh, for sure. That's all they're putting out now. It's because people eat it up. And honestly, I'm not helping.
You hear about this MILF Manor thing?
No, I have no idea what that is.
It's a show on HGTV where it's like a dating show. I can't believe I'm actually explaining this to you because it's more of a waste of breath. Anyway.
I'm here for it.
It's a bunch of moms that are single, looking for relationships with younger men. And the younger men are doing the same thing, but it's mothers and sons.
Okay, but what?
So they're going on this fucking show as mother and son, and they're supposed to be dating each other's.
They're swapping?
Dude, it's the most messed up thing in the world.
Oh my God.
It's a disaster. It's the trashiest of trash you could imagine. And it's just like,
honey, add it to the list.
Add it to the list. I swear to God. It's on every Sunday night. I don't even know if they're making them anymore.
Every Sunday night.
At 9 o'clock. Make sure you tune in. You want to watch The Last of Us? No, we're watching MILF Manor. Sorry. Got some more
unreal, dude. That's really funny.
So yeah, add that to the list of trash television. It's just like half the time you're watching it, you're just like, I'm garbage.
That's like 30 Rock. They made a spoof on like MILF Island or whatever with funny. Like the little kids, but they were like kids.
Yeah.
And they made like a spoof on it, and it came to life.
That's amazing.
That's ridiculous.
Someone watched that and was like, I need to make this real.
Yeah, they were like, that's a great idea, except let's make them of age. That's crazy. That is wild.
It's pretty ridiculous.
So, you sent me a list. Day one. What does this mean? I have no idea.
All right. So, day one is literally just an entity. It was the craziest start to the craziest tour. It was literally day one of the tour. And it was the tour that we did. We did like 4 dates in Canada. Excuse me. And then we did. That was not the tour going down to Fest. It was like our last summer tour before we kind of broke up. So this was before I met Kate, my wife, but I wasn't with her yet. I was doing my own thing and shit like that. But it was basically a fill-in tour. So the only people who were actually in the band were me, Alec, and Ryan. And then Rob Button played guitar.
Yep.
No.
Bass.
Did he play bass, and Nick Berger played guitar? Yes. It was,
I think that's what it was.
Usually it was the other way around, so Nick Berger played guitar, Rob Button played bass, and then Anthony Carluccio did merch for us. So it was a fucking goon squad of just goobers going across the border.
That's the dream team, dude.
It was It's the tour we always like reminisce on. Like every tour they had its own little niche.
Right.
But that tour was just like, it's because of how it started. It started from the second we left, because they were all from Syracuse, and they picked me up, and we left from my house in Buffalo, and we went straight to the border, and that's where it all started. So obviously, you toured in Canada before, right?
Yeah,
okay, so obviously everybody knows it's an absolute disaster. Trying to get over the border, do the whole thing, gotta search the van, do all the specifics, and so we did all the other like paperwork stuff. Everyone was good, the itinerary, all that good stuff. And then we got to the part where they were going to search the van, and they lined us up on this long bench. It was just like all six. I don't know if it was 2 benches or if it was a long bench and all 6 of us fit on it. But I remember taking a picture of like pretending like, oh, we got stopped at the border. Like it was cheesy bullshit.
Yeah.
And while we're sitting there trying to like think about everything, and just talking, kill the time. Obviously, everyone was like nervous for stupid reasons. We realized, I'm sure if you don't know this about being a tour musician, then you're going to learn something new today. But weird things happen, and bands with dudes just buy dildos in their van. Is this the thing for you guys?
No, that was you. That was Trespassers.
That was Trespassers,
That
baby.
was you know what? I have heard of that with other bands, but traditional was not. We're not wasting money on dildos.
I don't know who bought the dildo. I don't know where it came from.
Here's the difference. You guys didn't drink.
Yeah,
we did. So we're not wasting dildos or money on fucking dildos. We're using our money on beer and like Taco Bell.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good point. We just did dildos and Taco Bell. I guess. Our priorities were fucked up. I don't know. But yeah, like it's weird because my other band, Anchor Me Down, also had a dildo in their van. Like
Perfect.
It was a weird thing that like just stuck around forever.
Checks out.
Yeah. And like I'm saying this like so normal. Yeah, we got a fucking dildo in the van. Like people are gonna be like, why? Like, and that was the exact situation. It was we were sitting there getting searched, and we forgot that the dildo was underneath Alex's driver's seat. And 6 Border Patrol officers are searching through the van, ripping through the van, and we're like, the dildo is under the seat. Oh my God. So we're like trying to play it off. They're like, all right, you guys are all set. And we're all walking. It's like awkward silence.
Yeah.
Like, and like just one younger Border Patrol, I was like, yeah, just what are you guys doing with that thing underneath the driver's seat? And we all just lost it. Like the Border Patrol officers, everybody were just losing their minds. We're like,
what do you think we're doing with it?
Just like, okay.
What question is that?
It was hilarious. Like
funny.
There were like a couple female Border Patrol officers too, and they were laughing so hard.
That is hilarious.
It was so good. So that's how it started. We didn't even leave the country yet. We were like 10 minutes into the tour, and that's the first thing that happened.
That's great.
We got a dildo in the Border Patrol. So like day one literally just extended to that. Like, so first day was in Toronto. And obviously like a lot of the guys in Syracuse never been to the falls, but like then never been to the Niagara Falls side. Right. So we literally.
You mean the good side?
Yeah, the good side.
Like the Canada side?
The side where like,
they actually give a shit?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And there's not dumpsters of burning puppies and shit like that? Yeah.
No. We save that for the American side.
Yeah.
Which actually was funny because I never was at the Canadian side either. I've always been to the trash side. So it was like, all right, we left, went to Niagara Falls. So we were just like, all right, first stop already, like 20 minutes in. Went to Niagara Falls, and then we went to Toronto. And Toronto like was such a weird vibe. It was this place called the Smiling Buddha, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. And it was just like a dive bar, like kind of like I want to say like kind of like waiting room upstairs. Like it kind of in my brain, that's what it reminds me. Yeah, the studio. Okay. Yeah. Size wise, I guess I should say. And it was pretty packed crowd. Like it was cool. We were playing the Canada shows. Do you remember the band Pine?
Yeah.
Okay, so we played those shows with Pine, and that was cool because we were just with our friends, and it was a big, huge meetup right away. And basically, Rob and Nick like to have a good time. Ryan likes to have a good time. Obviously, I didn't drink, but like I also like to have a good time. And there was this girl there that,
dude, I'm just imagining you be like, fucking hate good times.
Fucking
hate them.
I actually like the worst thing ever. Like you like good times? What a fucking weirdo, dude. So this on your resume, like hates good times, like loves the worst of them.
Hater of times that are good.
So this girl that was friends with somebody in Pine was there, and their friend. So it's like a friend of a friend of a friend.
Okay.
And she was like just a walking disaster in the best way.
Like hammered?
Like drugs, drinking, doesn't know what she's saying. Like, and this was like the show just started. It was just like, but she was like party mode immediately. I don't know if you ever heard us talk about East Coast Cali living.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where that originated.
Okay.
She literally like said with a straight face, like, you know, like drunk girl doing the whole drunk girl thing. Like she was like, she doubled down. She was just like, East Coast Cali living, baby. And we're like, wait, what? Like it took a second to register, and then she said it again, and she's like, hell yeah, East Coast Cali living. I'm like, okay, she's doubling down. All right, yeah. Nick Berger actually has a tattoo of East Coast Cali living.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's because we were all supposed to get one.
Yeah. I'm
pretty sure it's the United States backwards and with Cali on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. That was at least like he showed me at Alex's wedding over the fall. I just can't remember because my brain sucks. But yeah, so she was just a good time.
Yeah.
She really was. As much as she was a disaster, she was a really good time. And so after the show, the party had to keep going.
Right.
So she took us to her apartment, and little did we know it was in the absolute worst part of town in Toronto. It was.
Okay. There's a bad part of Toronto.
Yo, straight up, the scariest. We should have died. Something bad should have happened. We shouldn't have died, but like something bad should have happened, and it didn't. And it's crazy to think about it still to this day because you hear about all the van and trailer break-ins and bullshit like that. Like we had to leave our van and trailer. Alec would not park the van and trailer on the street that we were on because there were just drug addicts everywhere, people asking for drugs, coming up to you. It was sketchy.
It sounds like they were just looking for a good
They
time.
were just looking for a good time, but like it was intimidating. It was really fucking intimidating.
I feel that.
So like we parked our van and trailer in like a very like a lit place where, you know, we kind of felt, okay, let's just fucking relax, whatever. And we walked into this girl's apartment, and the first and only thing I remember is the fact that there was a cutout Shaquille O'Neal in an Orlando Magic
life size
jersey. Life size.
I love that.
It was like the most like basic apartment. Everything was normal, and then there was just a Orlando Magic Shaquille O'Neal 7 foot tall cardboard cutout awesome. In the living room. It was like, all right. So we hung out there, partied, and went and got poutine, and that's just the ongoing joke that has been forever.
I think I've definitely heard you guys say day one. Like, I think you even said it. So it's basically day one. You're just referring to the first day of that tour because of how outrageous it was.
But like you couldn't. Yeah, it was so outrageous you couldn't top it.
Okay.
So it was like day one. We're good. Let's go home. Like, that's it. Yeah. So like that was just like the ongoing. The entire tour was just like day one. Sounds good. When's the next day? Like, it's still going.
You guys are wild for like leaving the van. So when we would tour, if we were in an area that like we didn't really trust, for instance, one time some dude was like, "You can crash at my place in Philly," and we were like, "Okay, where?" And he's like, "Oh, it's over this way." Blah blah whatever. Gives us the address. We get there. It is just the hood, like not great.
Yeah.
Very not great. And he was like, just make sure you park on this side. And we were like, okay. Couldn't find parking on that side. So we parked on the other side where we weren't supposed to. And I was like, all right, let's load it. We're bringing everything inside.
Yeah.
Like, we're not fucking around. Let's bring everything inside. Goes, oh, we just played. We're not loading it out again just to load it in. All right. You know the deal. We all, rock, paper, scissors. I slept in the van that night.
Oh, you did? Oh, my God.
Dude, I'm not going to, I was like, whatever. Like, everybody had to do it at one point.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there. I'm watching Netflix on my phone or whatever. And dude comes up to the van, starts looking in the van. So he's trying the locks and everything. The window's open. So he's reaching in the window. I pulled my knife. I was like, what the fuck do you think? Trying to be tough guy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, and just took off. But it was like, I was like, I hate it here.
Yeah.
This is the worst. Because I didn't sleep it all that night.
Yeah,
and then
I
I had
can
to drive
imagine.
the next day. But
of course.
Yeah, you guys are wild for doing that shit.
Yeah, it was pretty, thinking back on it, it was not one of our, like I said, everything worked out. It could have been way worse, but to start the tour in a bad decision like that,
it's only going up.
It could have ruined the whole thing, but
it's going up from there.
Yeah. And so that's the legend of day one.
Dude, and the border?
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
wild.
then this is this.
Oh, is
leads
this
us-
a different border?
No. This leads us into the Dundas Square thing. So,
Oh, okay.
So we played Toronto. It was kind of a weird. Obviously, DIY, baby. You got to do all that stuff yourself.
Yeah.
It was always a disaster.
Yeah.
It was what made it the best. So the first show was in Toronto.
Okay.
And then we played. Did we go to Montreal? Yeah, we went from Toronto to Montreal.
See, we never went that deep. We did like Toronto and
got
then
in
like
there.
maybe Ontario and then like maybe one other place that was just over, but we never really like went that far.
Yeah.
So
So this was when I don't remember if gas prices were as bad as they are now, but gas is still expensive when you're paying by the liter versus the
and your
gallon.
guarantee is $20 or something.
It was
Yeah.
like $23. I think. So we went from Toronto to Montreal, which everything was fine now. Like Toronto was really good to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we could pay to get there.
You made it back.
Exactly. That's how it was.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime that you made it back without dipping into your pocket
That was a win.
was very rare, but you got to
True.
remember those times. So yeah, just went from Toronto to Montreal, played Montreal. I met one of my really good friends there, still really good friends with him today. Then we played Ottawa, and we were supposed to have a fourth show in London, Hamilton area.
Okay.
And it fell through, obviously. So driving, the next day it was in Detroit, Michigan. So Ottawa to Detroit
That's actually, well, how long of a drive
it's a
is that?
haul. It's 5 hours.
Oh, it's like way up there.
Yeah, because it's 5. So Toronto to Montreal was like 6 hours, and then Montreal to Ottawa was like 3. But then Ottawa to Detroit, I'm pretty sure is like 8.5, maybe 9.
Okay.
It's in like you're driving through Canada the whole time,
yeah.
and you have no cell service, which like I actually
Nightmare.
It's so funny that this entire start of this is just talking about this Canadian part, because every time I keep talking about it, it brings up another great thing to talk
Yeah.
about. So we're like, screw it, let's go back to Toronto from Ottawa and
Okay.
like try to busk and just like go and play on the corner and try to make some money just to get to Detroit, whatever. And if it doesn't work out, then we just hang out in Toronto for another day, whatever. So we did that, and I don't know if you know this, but people like make a living off that shit. And
Oh, yeah.
also like
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot, there's the people who do it professionally and probably have permits and,
They do it the proper way.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
also people that claim corners that you probably wouldn't even like look at, because they're just going to sit there and like beg for money the whole
Right.
time and like come up to you and
Yeah.
make you uncomfortable. And that's what happened. We picked the wrong corner. That's all it is. we were there for probably like, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. I can't remember the timeline, but we played some of our songs. We played some covers. We just passed our guitar around with the guitar case open and everything. And we made a couple bucks. Like it helped us get to
Yeah,
Detroit and everything.
got you more than you had.
But it's actually on film in a tour video that Nick Berger did.
Okay.
We're sitting there, we're singing, I think it was the reveal actually, whatever. And we're singing, everything's fine. And this random like 5'5" dude comes out of absolute nowhere and just pushes me into the street. Like just like body checks me, and he's 5'5",
That's
probably
his corner.
He's like 120, 5'5". So I literally just took a step back. Like it didn't do, like it was one of those situations like, what the fuck just happened?
Did a
like
big gust of wind just hit
Dude,
anybody else?
if you see the video, it literally just looks like someone went like this to me. I was like, he like ran full force at me. It's so funny. And like Rob goes into instant like dad mode. He like slams the guitar case down. He's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like getting in his face and everything. And this guy was just like not stoked that we were, playing music on his corner and, taking away his money.
That was his corner.
That was his unclaimed, unpermitted corner that we just needed to know. And like it was funny because people like were just standing around watching and like they're like I said, people were sitting there vibing and having a good time, and then he comes out of nowhere and people were just like, all right, time to leave. Nobody did anything. Nobody like batted an eye, and I was just like, this dude just charged at me. Like, okay, all right. We packed it up and we left.
The guy was like, this is my corner.
This is my fucking
Everybody's
corner.
like, checks out. It's his corner.
Checks
We got to get out of here because this is guy's corner. We can't.
Guy's corner. That's so funny.
That is funny, dude.
Yeah, so that was my time getting attacked in Toronto. I'm glad to say I made it out alive, which leads to the inevitable, like still like long drive from Toronto to Detroit in Canada, because nobody has cell service and gas prices suck.
Did you guys have a GPS?
I think Alec did, yeah, because that was the only way we. I mean, obviously, we had to have, because how else?
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it now.
So when we did it, I used we didn't even have like our own. I used my parents, and like had
good old days, baby.
Yeah, dude, and I had to like pay for the Canada maps and like download it on there, but I didn't do it properly, so it did like a small portion of into Canada and then just like stopped.
Beautiful.
So we were like, there's a Tim Hortons there. They have Wi-Fi. Everyone just screenshotted everything. And then you just prayed that you didn't miss an exit.
That's such a crazy thing to think about. And like kids these days, I know like, we're going to sound like old fucking boomers here, but like kids these days will never understand going on a road trip with printed out MapQuest directions.
Dude, like we'll never understand what it's like to have a map.
Okay, and that's perfect. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah, dude.
We'll never understand that side. Just like, and it's crazy to think that like that's kind of the same thing. But like the fact that you were like, yeah, let me just screenshot it. We'll get there, whatever, and it worked out.
I mean,
somehow it worked out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we actually ended up missing a one of our exits that we had to like wait for the next exit, which was like 20 miles or something. We're like, oh
it's
my
the worst
God,
feeling, right?
But we got there.
That's all
we
that
made
matters.
it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The good old days of having like a GPS. I was never one of those people who had it. I always had to ask someone to borrow one.
Yeah.
And to think about, like, that's not that long ago. Like
no, that's like 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so talking about how like I know I didn't have cell service in Canada. And
Back in the day.
Back in my day, I had to, forge and draw my own map and hope I did it right.
Yeah, dude.
From memory. So we're basically at this point, we're driving. We're all like, I literally posted. I think I posted a tweet. Am I 90? I think I tweeted. Or like posted an Instagram picture. I was like, I'm never coming back to America. I love Canada.
That's great.
And then it was like that sheer moment of like driving into an abyss, no communication with anybody, just in a van with 6 dudes.
Yeah.
You're losing your mind. You're like, I remember like, get me back in America. I hate this fucking place. I'm never coming back.
I need to tweet.
Yeah, I need to look at Twitter. So on that drive from Toronto to Detroit, we all literally kind of lost our minds. Like we went to this truck. We stopped at a truck stop, and like we all paid for like $2.99 for like 30 minutes of internet or something like that. It was some ridiculous things to think about now. Yeah, we're like, yeah, I need to let me just buy some internet real quick. But we ended up trying to make the best of it. And we did. We had an acoustic guitar with us. And we literally just passed the guitar around in the van. And people were just playing original songs, covers. And it was the first time, like, Ryan was new to the band. He wasn't an original member. So, like, I only knew him as pretty quiet. But, like, he was obviously really good at guitar. And, like, he did backup vocals here and there. But I didn't realize how, like, talented Ryan was at this point. And, you know the band The Hotelier?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, an introduction to an album. Yeah. He gets the guitar, and he rips that song out. And I literally was crying. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. This is a crazy moment. Like, it was just such a, like, unbelievable. And it was just the same thing. Like, Rob would sing something crazy, Nick, and we would just pass it around. I'm like, this is so cool. And it's like, it's something that stuck with me forever. And it's funny that I didn't even write it on here.
Yeah, that is funny. That's how it happens. You're just reminiscing. You're going to keep that. You're talking about stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm remembering stuff,
Light bulbs are going off.
It's
all
crazy.
Over the place.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, that's Canada, baby. That was the one and only time we went. I loved it, but I hated it at the same time. And, I wouldn't change a thing about it. I would change a couple things, but, I can't change anything.
Like, you say that, but also, like, it got you here.
Oh, yeah.
You and, like, literally here. You had a story to share. So
many.
Yeah.
And then I still have a lot of those friends from those.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
and that's the thing, too, is, like, there is no bond like the bond that you share with the people that you spent that much time in a van with and went through the bullshit with.
Yeah.
Because, like, dude, Nick Berger stood in my wedding. You know what I mean? Like, you stood in Alec. You were his best man.
We should talk about that. We should talk about that.
All right. So, all right. briefly heard this from either Nick or Rob, but I don't know, like, really what happened.
Dude, me and Alec.
Shout out Alec.
Shout out Alec. Love you, buddy. Alec and I hated each other. No, I shouldn't say that. Alec didn't like me. I didn't.
You
like,
hated him.
No, but I should probably say he hated me. It's not even that we hated each other. We just never got along.
Yeah,
we always butted heads. There was always something smart ass coming out of his mouth, and I just was like, this little fucking twerp. Because he's like I think he's like 3 or 4 years. I think he's 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And so at the time, he's like 21 years old, 22 years old, and this little twerp's, being a dickhead to me all the time.
Yeah.
And like we'd get into it all the time, especially like when it came to practice. Because for those who don't know, my band Trespassers, they were all out in Syracuse. I was the only one in Buffalo. So I would make the commute pretty much every weekend to practice, to record anything. And then like the days that like something came up and I had to bail on practice, it was a huge thing. Obviously, I mean, it sucked. We would plan for something.
Yeah.
We had to do a lot of adjusting with work schedules and shit like that. So yeah, we never got along. And when I left, it's funny how like things come to, they all just kind of work themselves out. But like after I left Trespassers, Alec didn't stay for too much longer after I left. And like, I don't know, some time went by and he like reached out to me. He's like, hey, I was an asshole to you the entire time we were in this band together. I'm sorry, apologize to me. And I was like, that probably took a lot from him to it showed maturity right away. I mean, and I said the same. I was like, I apologize too, because I mean, probably didn't make it any easier for him.
Yeah.
But like, so we like squashed that beef, and like immediately we were just like we grew super close. So we like talked every day, and then it's weird because we went on like just to think about that, how different things were. Like I used to be a lot closer with Matt and Nick, and it's not like that we're not close anymore. We don't talk as much as we used to. But like me and Alec, we play video games together. Mm-hmm. We went on a couple road trips together, like little things like that. And his wife and my wife get along really well. So yeah, originally I was supposed to just be in his wedding, and like that part was enough where it was just like Matt and Nick were like, "How is this happening?" Like,
right? Yeah.
Like you guys hated each
what?
other.
Yeah.
And then so like his best man had to back out. And in Alec fashion, he told me I was his best man, like literally 45 minutes before.
Dude, that's crazy.
It was exactly how, because like me and Katie got to they're like where they got ready and everything, and like it had me next to him every time, like in the lineups and everything. I'm like,
so you had already practiced it?
No, not really.
Basically though.
But I didn't accept it until like we got to the venue.
Okay.
Because like we didn't really do a rehearsal until we got there. We just like figured it out, everything. And I'm like sitting there, and Katie's like, "Are you his best man?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know." I'm like, "I don't know." And then we're just standing there. We did the rehearsal, everything, and we're standing there, and he's like, "So you want to tell some tour stories?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Alec?" That was his way of asking me to like.
Wow.
I'm like, this is the most you thing ever. And like, I didn't take a single slight of offense to it. I was just like, I'm like, yeah, buddy, I will. Yes, I will do this.
That's great, though,
and
dude.
it worked out great.
Yeah.
Like it was. I mean, I was very. He's like, just wing it. I'm like, you don't. You deserve an actual speech. And
that's great.
So it was. I was very. It's funny because it's just like it sounds ridiculous, but I was obviously very honored to do that for him. And me and Alec are closer than ever. And he actually just got me. I don't know if you saw that I'm leaving for tour on April 13th. I'm driving.
You're driving with who?
Between you and me. So it's that Real Friends and Uncle Puck tour.
Oh, okay.
So like the first leg they're out on right now, and they're the second leg is like a West Coast trip with them. So that's how he helped me get that.
That's sick.
Like
is he doing the lighting for that?
No, he's out with Our Last Night right now,
okay.
which is insane because like every show is sold out, and he keeps sending me videos of like the rig set up, and the whole production is just absolutely ridiculous.
That's awesome.
So
good for him.
Dude, he's absolutely killing it with because he did that state champs tour. He did the lighting for that, and it was just like
it was weird. It was weird. Like I didn't really know he was trying to do that, and then one day,
it's Alec, baby.
I think I was in Syracuse or something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I brought all my lights." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I bought a crap load of lights and started a business, basically." Good for you, dude. That's awesome.
The entire time of me being friends or acquaintances with Alec has been, what does this kid do for a living? And
no one knows.
And no one fucking knows. He always had money. and he was the youngest kid, and there was always a reason. Like, but it's just
he hustles.
He hustled his ass. He works so fucking hard, and like it's one of those things where it was like a dynamic in the band of just like, whoa, this fucking guy's got all the money, and it was like, no, he works his fucking ass off for it. And,
for sure.
He's killing it. That was the thing. Like all of a sudden, he just like started doing the lights. I'm like, you're doing this now. Because when we did that,
wait, that's for real. Yeah. You were serious.
You were serious. He's like, yeah, I got like 4 storage units of trailer rigs or like lighting rigs. I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do, friend.
That's great.
So I'm happy that he's killing it, and obviously I'm thankful that he was able to help me with that opportunity with between you and me as well. It's so funny to think about me and Alex's relationship now versus then.
It's funny how that happens, man. I don't know. I feel like that happens like more often than not.
It's life, baby.
Like you just like you're not forced to, but dude, you spend all the time. You even if you didn't like each other during it, you still like experienced a lot together.
Did a lot of cool shit.
Yeah,
saw a lot of cool shit.
That shit'll even if you guys still didn't like each other, you still have a bond that most people don't have.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things that people don't like. Not to be like, oh, if you never did this, you won't understand it. But like, you gotta have a level of flexibility and understanding when you live with people in a van, because we weren't staying in hotels. We probably stayed in a hotel. I don't think we ever stayed in a hotel as trespassers
ever. Yeah, but how long were your runs?
We usually did 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks was the longest, I think. We were never a big like month. Like I know you guys did that. What was it?
That was 60.
60 days, right?
That was 60. But we would do like minimum a week. We'd usually like we did a couple month tours, like 30 days at a time, and then like 2 weeks, or like, dude, there were times we went to freaking Clarksville
just for a weekend,
just for that day, and then drove back. Yeah.
The thing that was tough was obviously like you understand more than anybody. Like we were like I don't want to say popping off, but like we were getting traction, and people were like knowing who we were, and like not to be like, well, Matt's the reason why this fucking band. Matt had a baby, so like Matt immediately couldn't tour,
right?
And it was like the first.
And he was like the main writer, right?
Yeah, he was like OG. Like he was the one who bugged me every day. Like he would just like Instagram DM me like, hey, sing for my band. I'm like, I have no idea who you are. And I finally did. And I'm like, all right. And then it was like that dynamic, that whole like way Trespassers began with me is also a story in itself. It's just like that first EP that we did, we basically wrote and not recorded, but we wrote that on like voice memos. Like they'd send me a guitar clip or the track, and I would sing over it in a voice memo and send them back like, hey, do you like this? And that's the thing I'll cherish forever. It's weird that we made that EP through voice memos, and I was like, you're like super thankful for technology at that point. You're like, it's wild.
I know that so well, especially because me and Anthony, we started Genesee Hotel, and the whole idea was just me and him. We were like, we're going to do like a front bottoms thing, but good. Yeah. Because I hate that band. That's just me. Sorry.
That band stinks.
I'm just not into it. But
I will say that I did have a phase where I liked that first album and the second album, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I was just like, no, this is not cool. I'll still go back and listen to them once in a while. I will completely admit that. My wife will never let me hear the end of it. She hates that band so much.
It was... Why do you want to sound like Tom DeLonge?
You Blink fan?
I don't hate him.
Okay. I
will say this. I respect them and what they've done. I think Travis Barker's the most overrated drummer of all time. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's overrated.
Especially coming from a drummer, I respect that 100%.
That's number one. Number two, why would you let Tom DeLonge sing when you have Mark Hoppus, who can actually sing. He can actually sing.
That was that 2003 to 2002 dynamic, though. It was like the shitty, whiny pop punk.
That's not the same, though, dude, because like I grew up on fucking Get Up Kid. My number one record of all time is Something to Write Home About. His voice is not the best voice.
Yeah.
It's that nasally, whiny.
But it was at least in tune and listen. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm like, a Blink-182, like, I will fucking murder your whole family if you don't like them. I love the self-titled album.
I've seen them 3 times.
I've never seen them.
I appreciate what they've done. I think that fuck, dude, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. What's the record with the chick on the front?
Enema of the State.
Enema of the State is a great record.
It's a good one.
Love it.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good songs after that. I was not into them when they were relevant.
Okay.
In the day, like back in the day. Now I'm like, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'll put them on.
Yeah.
My wife loves them. I love that record. It's a great record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not paying $500 to go see them at Gen
chance.
Ad.
That's
you know?
the thing. I literally was like, I was excited because obviously with the only way Blink-182 should have been a band still was with Tom, Mark, and Travis. I was so over the Matt Skiba situation. Like that album they did was so bad, and I'm sure Blink-182.
I actually like that record.
Of course you do, because you don't like actual Blink-182. So I understand, and I'm not gonna I said I'm not gonna fucking get after it. But like
I digress.
I remember like I was 10 years old, and my parents would buy me CDs as long as it was either an edited version or a no parental advisory. That was their thing. Like they bought me Volume 3 Subliminal Verses from Slipknot.
Okay.
Like because it wasn't parental advisory.
Yeah.
But that's not a
Little did they know.
Little did they know. But like I remember getting Take Off Your Pants jacket, and like you opened a jewel case, and it was a condom, a plain pants and a condom on the inside cover.
Okay.
And my sister was like, "What's that mean, Matt?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know. Like I don't know." And then like you grow up, you're like, "Damn, that's kind of crazy." Like even on the edited version, they had that. But,
I mean, you're not gonna change all the marketing. There's a
course
reason
not.
you wanted them.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, when they put that show out in Darien Lake, I was like, cool. Turnstile's playing it, cool. And then I saw the price, I was like, I'm all set.
Yeah, no, same. This is the last thing I'll say, and then let's move on because people are gonna either hate us.
This is a Blink-182 podcast now. Sorry.
Over my dead body. But when they were popping off, I was listening to like emo and hardcore.
Yeah.
And that was it. So, and that was because of my older brother. So
Okay.
I grew up and I was influenced by the stuff my brother listened to, Sunny Day Real Estate, Elliot, fucking like.
Do you like Glassjaw?
Love Glassjaw. Fuck yeah. So that
Another
was what
band
I was
that's-
listening to when people were listening to Blink. So that's my explanation.
You ever like go and think
respect it.
about your like your journey in music? Like it's a weird thing to say, but like what you were listening to that led to the next thing that led to the next thing. Like I have a lot of crossover. So like in you're saying like you in that same time frame when Blink-182 was going crazy, I was also listening to like that stuff too.
Right,
Like Glassjaw,
yeah.
like weird emo, like Norma Jean, like that old
Norma Jean, Bless or what is it?
Bless the Martyr, and then
Kiss the
Oh God, the
Child.
Aftermath.
Yeah, so that Bless the Martyr is what made me take drumming serious. I had already been drumming. I started drumming when I was 4.
Sick.
But I had already been drumming, for 8 years or something at that point.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that record came out. But yeah, so I heard that record and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I need a double kick.
Yes, you do.
And then I was like, oh, I need to like
yes, you
I
do.
need time changes. I need that. You know what I mean?
It's not
So-
just all
Yeah.
hi-hat snare anymore.
Yeah, like so that was like opening my eyes as far as like what the possibilities were. But
Hot Damn was I think was the first album. I had a really good friend in in elementary, middle school who had an older brother, and he would give her music, and we would AIM Messenger, baby. We would literally like go on AIM every day and just talk about music and shit. And she sent me randomly one day Hot Damn. She's like, my brother just sent me this, and that was the turning point for sure.
Yeah.
But I always think about that with like I still listen to everything I listened to growing up.
Same.
And I have no shame in it.
Yeah.
Like I know there's people who want to like kill that part of their life with what they listen to.
It's wild how much you'll forget about a band.
Oh, yeah.
And
You're
then
like, oh my God,
it'll
man.
come on and you know every word and you're like, what is happening? You're like, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, but I remember every lyric to this record from 2001.
Okay, it's not as long as a time frame, but it just happened to me like last week. Do you remember the band? You're probably not going to. They were like a one and done EP band, Rain Dance.
I don't think so.
They did an EP in like 2012. I think it was called The New Blood or something. I don't know what it is. I looked at. I had a Facebook memory from like 11 years ago that was like, albums that I'm listening to, and it was on there. I was like, holy shit, I forgot that literally existed. Put it on. I knew every single word. I was like, I haven't listened to this in 11 years.
Dude,
How is this
crazy.
possible?
It's crazy. It's
ridiculous.
It's insane. Yeah. All right. So Dundas Square.
We already did.
We
that.
did Dundas
Yep.
Square. Okay.
This
Fest.
This is a good one because we like segued so
Dude,
much there.
it happens, dude. We're enjoying ourselves. We're catching up. You know, this is what podcasts are.
Yes, it is.
We don't get through everything, or more comes up.
Yeah.
Come
it's
back.
Natural. It's
come
beautiful.
back.
Hell
That's
yeah.
all there is. You know, that's all it is.
So this next story is great because you were actually a part of it. And I don't even know, like I talked about it briefly when we were setting up everything, and I didn't want to like spoil it so I can get your actual reaction.
I have no idea what he's about to
which is
talk about.
crazy because like it was because we did a tour going down to Fest.
Yes.
We started it. Did we meet up?
We met up. You were with Foxing, right?
No, that would have been
We
cool.
played a show with them, didn't we?
Yeah, we played like 3 shows with Foreign Tongues. And
that's
Foxing
right.
was
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P. Foreign Tongues. I love you and miss you forever. Please come back to me, Daddy. I literally miss that band so much, and it's every time they're brought up, I like shed a tear. But yeah, so we did that tour. We went down, the East Coast, played some, regular ass shows. North Carolina was sick when Jared put it on in his old house. Remember that in his living room? We had In and Out, Jared Hazelet.
Oh, I don't remember.
If you saw Jared, you'd remember him in a heartbeat. I just
Yeah.
saw him the other day, actually. He does merch for Real Friends.
Okay.
Anyways, but like we played some cool shows going down there, but then we were all ultimately just going like Foreign Tongues played Fest. Every band they did like a no sleep. I think wasn't Koji on it.
Koji was on that.
Koji,
Yeah.
Foxing, Foreign Tongues, Aviator, and then they threw us on that because Jared booked it,
Okay.
which was sick. And then you guys,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
duh. And so going down to Fest was like 3 days, and my whole Fest experience was very different from everybody else's in our band because
Now, real quick, just give like a quick, brief explanation of what Fest is for
Okay.
those that do not know.
So it was called Fest 14, and they do this like 3-day festival down in Gainesville, Florida. I'm pretty sure it's every year still.
It is still every year, yeah.
And it's sick. There's literally like thousands of bands that come down to this fest, and there's like I don't know what 10 venues. Like there's little bars.
There might be
probably
more than that.
Probably more.
Yeah.
They had like a main stage, maybe 2 main stages because I remember seeing 2 stages in my memory. But then there was little bars all around this whole block area of where this whole thing was.
Bookstores.
Yeah,
And like literally if you could fit people inside, they turned it into a music venue.
Yeah, it was
for anything.
so sick. And there's people who go down to this religiously, and like when I first heard about it, that was that year, obviously. And like let's make everyone cringe a little bit. Title Fight played that. You miss that band, don't you?
Yeah.
Pianos Become the Teeth. I remember
Yeah.
there was another
Dude,
band.
Andrew WK headline.
Dude, there were like when you looked
full
at
band headline.
when you
dude.
looked at the whole lineup
Yeah.
because there was like
It
1,000
was sick.
names. You're like, I'm playing this festival. Like this
Yes,
is
dude,
ridiculous.
yeah.
I remember seeing Pianos Become the Teeth and Title Fight on that main stage, and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is weird,
Yeah,
you know. But because me and Ryan, we have a friend Gabby who was at the time like one of those like. What are they called? Actors at Disney World, like when they work at Disney, but they're like
the cast member. Yeah,
I knew there was a weird name for it. But yeah, so she was a cast member at Disney, and she ended. I've never been to Disney, never in my life really cared about going to Disney, but also like I grew up poor. Like my family never.
Same.
We didn't take trips to fucking Disney. So like it was never just a thing in my mind. But she's like, when you guys are in Florida, I can take you and Ryan to Disney for free. I'm like,
hell yeah.
what? Like, obviously I'm doing that.
I think I remember parts of this.
So I like dipped out for a
Yeah.
bit and like I missed a whole, I was there for a set. I was there for, a couple bands I mentioned before. I remember seeing Crucial Dudes in like a regular ass like venue. That was crazy. So I did get a good taste of it and everything, but like I wasn't there for the whole thing. Like it was weird because I was just in Orlando, right? Is that where Disney is?
Yeah.
So that was cool. Whatever. We got back all together. We played our set, and like it was great. The last day was sick, and we were all ready to leave. And Alec was so. Now it's funny because I drive tractor trailers now. I'm about to drive on a band on tour for a month. I drive everywhere with my wife. I literally, if I'm not driving, I don't want to be alive.
Right.
So like in the band, I was not like that. I drove once in a while, very, very seldom. And it wasn't even like I didn't want to. It was just like Alec was the main driver, and then like it was just like whenever someone was tired.
That's a drummer thing, man. I was the main driver too.
Okay. I never like understood why, but like I drove to Montreal after Toronto. I drove and I was gonna drive to wherever our next stop was, and so we're all packed in, we're all ready to go. I don't remember where our next show was. I know we were going back up, obviously, and we left the grounds of the fest, and we literally were driving for like 5 minutes. I'm not kidding. It's like we left, drove down the main road, and there was a stop sign at the end there. I don't know if you remember that at all.
I do.
Well, I didn't. I kind of rolled through that stop sign very, 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 very slightly, and there was a cop right there, which is just waiting.
Yeah.
Pulled me over, and we were about to go get gas. So I pulled into the gas station. He got behind me.
Threw his lights on.
And in Florida, they don't fucking play around. I'm like, they like driver get out. Like they're talking over the walkie. Like driver get out of the van and walk to like I don't remember the front of my squad. Yeah, the front of my squad car. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, dude, that's horrifying.
I'm like, I'm already stressed out, whatever. It's obviously intimidating. You're getting pulled over in a different state. Obviously, Florida is notorious for being a wild place. And little did I know, my license was suspended because I didn't pay a parking ticket.
No.
Yeah, and I had no from Lackawanna, just like, and it was like. I never had anything. I had zero. I remember the ticket after when he said it was suspended. I'm like, this has to be the only thing. But it was like so long, I forgot about it. Obviously, I wouldn't even thought about driving most of the time.
Right.
So in Florida, you can get arrested for driving with a suspended license. I'm pretty sure everywhere
you can.
But they made it seem like I don't know if you know this, but like I can put you in the back of my cop car right now and take you to jail. I'm like. Like I'm already like so stressed out. He's just being a complete asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Like he's doing the whole tough cop thing, and they ended up taking my license, would not give it back to me. So I had no ID. I obviously couldn't drive for like the rest of the tour, whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, you're really lucky. I'm feeling in a good mood right now, or I could have arrested you."
Wow.
I was like. Of course this would happen. So this was like fresh. This tour was like fresh into me and Katie like actually dating. So like we started dating. I leave her for like 3 weeks, and then like she gets a text, "Hey, I just got pulled over. My license got taken away from me."
Holy
so I couldn't
crap.
get into like I couldn't use
bars.
My ID. I had an issue with every place that like obviously I didn't drink, so it didn't matter. But like it was just such a fucking headache, and I just remember like. Feeling like the biggest pile of shit for the rest of the time. I was like, from that moment, I was like, I want to be home right now. It ruined
that ruins everything.
I don't remember how much longer the tour was after that, but I still can't let live it down.
That's funny, man. So speaking of driving,
hitting
a deer.
Timelines are weird. It's not really important to the story. I always just like try to think, like connect which tour it was. But all I remember, it might have honestly been the end of the fest tour.
It's possible.
Because it was the end of the day. No, it was the day one tour because Rob and Nick were there and it was all a mess. Because like Matt came and Tim came. It was weird. The last show was in Worcester. Remember this show at Ralph's Diner? Or now it's like, no, you weren't on that tour.
I don't think I was on that tour,
It was the last day of this tour that we were on. And we were in Worcester and it was weird. Like I said, like it was... Because we had the fill-ins and it was Massachusetts, I think Matt and Nick drove separately, like to just come to the show and hang out. And so because of that, somebody drove back with Nick I can't remember the details, but it was only me, Alec, Matt Travers, and was Nick? Yeah, I think Nick was there. Whatever. There was only like half of the band in the van driving back to Syracuse from Worcester, and we're driving down the 90, and I'm laying on the bench. Matt is sleeping in the loft, and Alec and Nick are in the front seat, and they're just hanging out, whatever. And Matt's passed out, fast asleep. I'm kind of like in and out, and then worst comes to worst. You know, you can kind of see where this is going. All of a sudden, Alec this is Alec reacting to things.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! So that was literally it. There was no screaming, nothing. He was just like, I'm hitting a deer right now. Like, and that was all it was.
Yeah.
He just, oh shit, oh shit. So we hit this deer. Matt comes flying over the fucking the bench loft.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like he like rolls on top of me, like scared. Obviously, I mean, he just woke up from a dead sleep to hitting a deer. So he's like freaking out. We pull over. I don't know if we had to, but we stayed and waited for the state trooper. So like in that time frame of like us sitting there waiting, like obviously we're getting out looking at shit. I lost a shoe on the 90, and I lived in Buffalo, so I had to go. I took a train, I think, back to Buffalo after the. Or
no
I drove.
shoe.
I had one shoe. I don't remember if I took a train that tour or if I drove and then met up. I can't remember at all. But I lost a shoe on the 90.
That's hilarious.
Now, R.I.P. shoe. No idea where you're at. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've served somebody else.
Just one shoe.
That's actually another thing that I would get bullied and harassed about. I don't know if you know this or if like anybody like, you know how we say the 90 or like the 290.
Yeah.
Like
I-90, yeah.
That's like a Buffalo thing.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you know that. It's sick. So like I would get harassed every day, every time I was going out to Syracuse, because I'd be like, I shoot them a text like, hey, just get on the 690 now. And they're like, 690. I'm like, you can't just let it fucking go.
Yeah,
like it's actually called 690. I'm like, and they raised a good point because you wouldn't say like, hey, I'm going down the Union Road right now. Or I'm going down the Transit Road. You know what I'm saying? That was their argument. I'm like, that's dumb. That's stupid.
That is dumb also because
you're saying two
Route
things.
5 is actually Camp Road. Like, give me a fucking break.
Dude, I would get bullied all the time. Every time I'd send a text, I just wouldn't text them anymore. I'm like, here. Like, I'm fucking here. So like,
Where are you? On the way.
That was actually a part of my best man speech.
Really?
When I was like, yeah, Alec used to bully me all the time for saying the 90. But yeah, R.I.P. Shoe. Hope you're doing well.
All right, and then to close things out, there's a special place in my heart for this.
I figured
one.
this is a great place to finish it up.
Man.
Clarksville, Tennessee, baby. We had some good times out there.
Yes.
I don't even know like that whole experience still just like is weird to me because like obviously like you guys knew Justin and the Veerkants before.
No, we didn't. Well, we knew before you guys did.
A Fortune and Fame guys.
A Fortune and Fame, and then we were on that tour with them, and that's how we met them.
Okay, yeah, because like I walked into like a completely different like, I was like what the hell? Like these guys are like best of friends.
Yeah, and
like the first day I met them, we played this fest called 1011 Fest. Mm-hmm. They would do it in Lawton's backyard.
Yes,
built a stage in his backyard, and like it was like a small. Obviously, it wasn't like the 1000 Fest 14, but like there was like 15 bands that would come play, and like it was an all day thing, and it was so sick. Like at the time, I'm like, this is the craziest thing. Like this is just some random kid's backyard, and we're just chilling. Like anytime I would tell people we were going to Tennessee, they're like, "Oh, you're playing Nashville?" I'm like, "No, I'm playing fucking Clarksville." Yeah. You get that,
which is like
it's like 50 minutes from 50
Nashville. Minutes from Nashville, yeah. So it's like outside, and it's kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
100%. Like that's why it was like they're like, "Why are you playing Clarksville?" I'm like, You don't know?
Yeah, dude.
You're not in?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first time we played Clarksville, and it was just like that was like a destination. Like anytime we were doing a weekend, anytime we were doing a tour, just like you said, like you would go and just play a one-off and just come back home. Like that was like our destination. Like you would pull up to like their house, and your phone would immediately like log into their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, dude.
And it was the best feeling ever.
And two points here, real quick. Purple bathroom. That's one. Two, it was always, they always threw a show when you'd come through.
Yep.
Or if you didn't have one. And then you took the next day or two off to shoot the shit.
Yep.
Because you'd
had
either
to.
all go in to the city, Nashville, and go to Wannabe's karaoke bar.
Oh
that was the jam, dude.
What was the one? We did that one time, and Rob did a song, and I did it with him. Was it Limp Bizkit? It was something like, I can't remember, but it's like the one thing. Wannabe's is like, that was the place to go to. I only did it once or twice, but like I remember. That's it. Oh my God, that was so sick. But you nailed that. Like there was times we would go to Nashville, and then there were times we went cliff jumping. Did you go to that one?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I that's where it gets mixed up. But like there was a time where they took us, like we took that next day off, just like you literally had to, because there was no way you're going down there and just like being like, all right, playing a show, see you later.
Well, dude, we would have a show cancel on us, in like fucking Georgia, and they'd be like, well, we're only this far away. We're like, we just left you guys 2 days ago. They're like, you don't have anything for another 2 days, so what are you gonna do? Sleep in a van? And we're like, we're on our way.
We're on our way. Always, dude.
Always put us always up. Took care of you. Always fed you.
I was gonna say, Sue always made amazing breakfast in the morning. Do you keep up with them at all?
I occasionally talk to them, not as often as I should.
Same
probably.
Here. I'm still friends with Sue, and like I see her.
It's more of like a Twitter thing,
Yeah. So like I'm like Lawton and Sue and Nick. I'm all friends with them on Facebook. So like I'm not on Facebook too often, but when I do, like I'm like, oh, look at that, they're doing some cool stuff. I was always closer with Justin.
Yeah,
so like
I'll Instagram with him and
all the time. Yeah. We always had like because we're both super into hockey, so we always talk about hockey. Yeah. But there was one time that we went cliff jumping. And that it was Rob, Nick were there because Nick was doing backflips off fucking like 60-foot waterfalls.
As he does.
He's such a maniac, and it's just like crazy to think like Nick and himself right now is a different animal. Like how much he's running and like
he's got to slow down.
That man's
literally and figuratively. I tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, just take a break. He's like, it's marathon season. I'm like, fuck off, dude.
Dude, it's so true because like I used to love running and now my knees are just like I just can't do it. And it sucks because I'm fat because of it. But like whatever. But like I see him all the time running. I'm like, God damn, he's an animal. But yeah, we did cliff jumping. I was like super scared to do it. Jumped off a 60-foot cliff and
horrifying.
Did it like 4 times because I was super stoked. Tailbone still hurts from it. Like it was like one of those situations where like. I'm like I was probably like 260, 250 at the time, still right around there, whatever. And I'm a big dude jumping off 6, like, just diving into water. Like, what am I doing? Like,
right.
It was one of those scenarios where you're like, now where I'm like, I'm old. I can't like, be moshing at a show.
Broken.
Yeah. I should have like realized that back then too. But yeah, Clarksville it will always hold it. I mean, it was like really early in Trespassers tour. It was the first weekend tour that we did. It was the weird, like, no one in a band would do this. Like it was Pittsburgh, Clarksville, and I think we played Toledo maybe or like somewhere in Ohio. It was like the most ridiculous routing for a weekend, but we did it just because we wanted to be down in Clarksville. It's
funny because so like Clarksville's amazing, but I just clump it in with Nashville because like they're not the only people that we've met through it. Like the first time we ever played Nashville, we played this house with oh
my God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What's the dude? He was in that band.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember.
It's really gonna bother me. It was like a 2-piece or a 3-piece or something. He played guitar. Real nice dude. He's guitar and sang. Anyways.
Oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts.
We played his house and it was like a DIY punk show. It was great, dude. It was fucking awesome. And these people show up and there's like 7 of them, 6, 7 of them. And they know every one of our words. Like every word to every song we played.
So
we're like, what the fuck? Then they would have, when I say we did one-offs, they would pay us to come down to their house, which was not Clarksville, but it was like 50 minutes in the other direction.
I was going to say, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And we'd play a house show. Fucking a rager, dude.
Yeah.
A rager. And then the next day we'd shoot the shit for a bit and then get up and leave.
Do you remember Daisy Head? Mike Rowe?
Yeah.
I remember him coming to, I'm pretty sure we played that. If it's the same house we're talking about, I can picture the street in my head. I can picture the house, the living room. And I remember him coming, because he did guest vocals on Dead End. Okay. So like, that was the first time since we put that EP out that we played like Nashville. And I remember him coming and doing his part, and that was really cool. Dude, it's going to drive me absolutely insane that we can't think of that guy's name. Because he did a lot of stuff. And the reason why they stopped that booking shows of that at that house was the rent went up like crazy.
Yeah.
And he ended up moving. And I was like, if we're thinking about the same friggin' house, if we're not, then there's 3 cool houses in Tennessee.
Yeah, whatever. But it's like I don't know. It's just like a southern, like the Nashville's good people, man.
Oh yeah.
Like I have not met, if they're from Nashville,
Yeah.
like actually from that, Tennessee.
Yep.
Fucking great people, man. They're just different breeds. They want
to take care
the
of you.
hospitality,
Yeah.
man. It's great. It's great. It's good times, man. Yeah.
Were you guys playing the show that Jay words Justin's birthday? Was it? It was like
so.
I think it was the last time we played Clarksville. Like another one of those situations where they threw a show for us.
Was it inside?
It was inside, in that big room where you'd always
the
sleep
living room
on.
or whatever.
Yeah, and there was like strobe lights and shit like that, crazy lights.
I don't know if that was with you guys. We did play that, but I don't know if you guys were there or not. Dude, everything's so foggy for me now.
It meshes all together.
Ago,
But I think that was the last time we played there. And then,
Yeah.
like I just remember like it being his birthday,
Yeah.
and it was wild.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming out, man. I know you have some stuff that you can promote on here.
Yeah.
Anything you want to promote, go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. This was
anytime.
It's weird that like you have all these stories in your brain, and then like you said, like I'm making little notes. I'm
Yeah.
like, you just segue into all this stuff and it comes back like it happened yesterday. So like it was awesome to like sit here and
Reminisce.
Obviously, because we played some shows together and did a tour together. It was nice to catch up on that. So thank you first and foremost.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
Yeah, I just started a new band called Bother. It's a 3-piece right now. We just released 2 songs on Spotify, Apple Music.
They are fantastic. Very catchy.
I appreciate you.
Very well done.
Yeah, we got 2 songs out right now on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. I don't know why those are the only 3, but that's where you can find them. Your main platforms.
Oh yeah.
And we basically are just waiting for Ryan to get back from tour to get the rest of the album finished. Which is going to be perfect timing for me to leave. So
That's great.
it's one of those situations where it's like there's not a lot of pressure with it, but also like I'm so ready for just all these songs to be out. So yeah, Instagram, just Instagram.
All of his information and everything, it'll be down below above the comments. I'll have all his links and everything, his band, anything else he wants in there. Thanks for hanging out, watching the episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, bitch.